You again? How many times do I have to tell you that I'm the only illegal alien on this planet? What is going on, my beautiful LARPers and LARPettes? Today we're going to go over 6 guns that you should purchase before an alien invasion. Now this video is not going to be too serious. I'm essentially just picking 6 guns out of my collection that look the most futuristic. And I'm just gonna have fun in this video and rank them from number 6 to number 1 and give you my reasoning on why I'm ranking them the way I am. But before I get into all that, I'd like to thank the channel sponsor, Atlantic Firearms, for sponsoring my YouTube endeavors and making videos like these possible where I can go ahead and have fun with you guys. Now first up on the list is going to be the Meta Tactical Apex carbine conversion kits. These are essentially just chassis systems or body kits that you can put your handgun into. I have a whole review that I just did right before this and pretty much went in detail on both of these here. But the reason why I chose this as number 6 is for a couple of things. So you have a Glock 17 or an M&P or a P80 and you can put your Glock 17 into one of these, kind of like how the what were they, the Micro-Ronies or a couple other type of stuff. I think Recover Tactical makes something similar to this. But this one is unique because you can put a 16-inch barrel in there. So if you wanted to have a 16-inch rifle now, you can. It looks kind of funky, but it is extremely fun to use. And another cool thing about this is the fact that it looks futuristic, and that's kind of the vibe I'm going for in this video, is trying to find the most futuristic guns for you guys to get. And this one is not very expensive and you already use your existing gun. So this is going to be the cheaper option to have a futuristic type gun out of the lineup that I'm showing you today. Also, this is going to be the shortest 16-inch PCC that I own out of the bunch. So now essentially that it's a bullpup, so the gun is back here, you can have that full 16-inch but still give you that small package. Very cool with these little guys here, but they are the number 6 pick. Just because of the fact that if you do want to get your handgun back out of there, you're just going to have to take that barrel off and swap it for your original barrel. So negative to that, positive, it's not permanent. So you can have a lot of fun with this and shoot some aliens as well. So next up is going to be like a 2-for-1 because I couldn't really choose between the two because they're super similar but also not super similar.
Same. But different, but still same.
But it's going to be the Strike Industries SMC and the Flux Defense Raider here. Now, I do have reviews on each of these individually, and I do have reviews on, or I have a versus video with these two here. So go ahead and check out my other videos if you want to get more in detailed with these two here. But the reason why I'm going with 2 is because they're both SIG P320 chassis that you can get for your existing SIG P320. Now, unlike the Meta Tactical that I just showed, this is not 16 inches. So you do have 16 inches on the Meta Tactical. This is around, I don't even know the barrel size of this because of the compensator, but it's not 16 inches whatsoever. And it's gonna be a little bit more difficult if you wanted to swap this back to its original conversion, right? So on this one, you have this charging handle. You have the chassis that you're gonna have to pull apart. You're gonna have to take your FCU out of this, put it in the original grip, and this compensator on this one here is mounted to the frame, so you're not gonna have a comp anymore. And on this 320 here on the Flux, it's a little bit more usable, I guess. So you would just take out the FCU and just put this slide on the other one. You're just gonna have this awkward little charging handle here. And this one does not have a rear sight on there. I do have this little front sight on that charging handle there. But again, the way they're configured, I would not take these apart and try to put them on an existing handgun if I ever needed to. So I would just leave them the way they are here. On the Meta Tactical, I could just take that out, put the barrel in, and I'm good to go. So again, another positive and somewhat of a negative here. But regardless, I would just leave them like this. There's no issue with having them like this here. They are extremely, extremely small. Out of the whole lineup that I'm gonna have, they are the smallest compact setup that you can get. You can go ahead and stick these in extremely small little backpacks. I have a Haley Strategic flat pack that I put these in, and they fit perfectly in those. But if you're trying to go for that gray man look or the most concealability that you can have, this would be the one for you. And the reason why you'd want one of these over just like a standard P320 that you'd just be carrying on your body, right, would be because you can get 3 points of contact now. And like I mentioned earlier, I do have reviews on both of these, so you can go ahead and check out all the cool features that they have on them and go ahead and make a decision for yourself on which one you'd actually prefer over the other. But as of right now, I just wanted to show you both just because I think they're both really, really cool systems. But yeah, there you go. 320 chassis, Flux Raider, Strike SMC. Check them out. They're really cool, really small little compact things there. Now next up is going to be the Chris Vector. This one here. This one is a 10 mil. I would probably just stick with 10 mil on the Chris Vector. And again, I just did a review on this as I did all the other ones. The Flux and the SMC were a little bit later, earlier in my YouTube career. Essentially every video or every gun that I have here that I'm showing you, I have a review on my page, except the last one. The last one, I still got to do a video on that. But the Chris Vector is an extremely futuristic looking gun, and it is also in 10 mil. And again, 10 mil has been hasn't really been the caliber of choice for a lot of handguns that I have in 10 mil. But on the Chris Vector, the way this system works with that 10 mil is perfect. So 10 millimeter Chris Vector, you have the option of having 30 rounds of 10 mil. This is a 20 round mag. And the controls are similar to an AR-15 back here. The downside to the Chris Vector is the way you load it. In my eyes, like I can't even, I have to push those two at the same time. There you go. So again, I have a whole video on the loading sequence on this, or the manual of arms on this. But overall, I think this is a really cool gun, and you'd be able to actually do some serious work to some aliens that are going to be coming to Earth with this guy here. I bet if they had some type of suit, this 10 mil could do some damage to that suit, unless they have some force fields. Force fields, I'm still not sure what would penetrate it, but maybe my number 3 pick, what is this, number 4, my number 3 pick, let's see if that can potentially pierce through some force fields. But before I get into my number 3 pick, just a little bit more on the Chris Vector. A little bit front heavy, but still a pretty cool small little package to have in 10 mil. This, again, I mentioned in my other video that I'm probably going to have this as my main backpack gun if I ever do go hunting where there's some bears out there, or, again, potential aliens. Now, my number 3 pick is going to be the FN PS90. I think I would actually prefer the P90 just because I can have it in full auto, and it can be a little bit of a shorter barrel. But the PS90, unfortunately, you have to have this 16-inch barrel in there until you SBR it and do all that BS tax stamp stuff. But I do have this whole setup here looking very futuristic as well. I'm interested on your thoughts on how FN57 would actually do against these extraterrestrial beings that would be coming to our Earth and getting their ass whooped. But huge plus, 50 rounds of 5.7. Downside, you do have a weird manual of arms, so you have to push these two to release the magazine back here. And your safety is not really weird, but your safety is down here, unlike like an AR-15 where it's your thumb. I do have a flashlight up there. And out of the bunch that I'm showing you here, I think this one here is going to gain the most respect from the aliens, just because of how it looks. It looks like Stargate, Star Wars. I don't know what you want to say about this PS90, but it is super futuristic looking. And if I ever came up to an alien and learned how to speak their language and try to become one of the aliens, I could probably get away with it with one of these while I'm walking around in their concentration camps that they're going to have for our human species. I'm going to use this gun here as my in to try to sabotage whatever they're going to be doing to us to save the human race. But PS90, there you go. Now next up on the list, we're getting a little bit more serious here, which is the Springfield Hellion. This is the 20-inch version that I could put a bayonet on the front of it. I don't know where the bayonet went, but I have a video here that I can show you with the bayonet on there. The Springfield Hellion, it is a 20-inch bullpup rifle that is still very short compared to other 20-inch rifles that I own, but it's not the shortest one that I own. I do have the 16-inch version as well for this one, but I like the fact that I can stick a bayonet on there just in case I do run out of some ammo and I can do some work to those alien faces. But the reason why I'm choosing the Hellion as number 2 and not number 1 on my list is, again, the manual of arms is a little bit awkward to me. So a majority of these guns here have a very weird manual of arms just because it's just the way you reload them, right? So on the Meta Tactical, you have to push this button back here and magazine in, charge, or hit that slide release. Not too crazy. On the PS90, it is extremely difficult if you don't know what you're doing. So you push that back here. You have to put the new magazine in, slap that down, and charge that whenever you need to. The Chris Vector, that positioning of the mag release is on my left hand, which I'm not used to using a mag release with my left hand, so it took a little bit of getting used to. The Flux Raider and the SMC are probably the most normal out of the ones that I've showed you so far, but it was a toss-up between this one and the one that I'm going to bring up next. But the reason why this is number 2 is because the way of reloading. So you have to come up back here, push that button, pull the mag, put a new mag in, and hit this little doohickey here that you have to do a little nipple pinch or charge it from the front. But overall, the performance on this thing and the reliability on this thing have been great. So if I was going to use this as a little bit more of a long distance shots that I'm taking against these aliens, I would probably go with this one here. And they did go ahead and fix the safety on the Hellion in the 20-inch and the 18-inch version, because this one just came out. On the 16-inch version, the safety is super awkward. I think it just sits super high up here, and I have to lift my thumb up at a weird angle. But on this 20-inch here, they moved it at a lower angle, so it feels more AR-15-ish. So the biggest issue, again, reloading. But the Springfield Hellion 20-inch would be a more longer range precision rifle that would be out of this whole bunch that I think. And last but not least, my number one pick out of the 6 guns that I'm showing you here would be the IWI Tavor X95. This, aside from it looking futuristic, a lot of it makes sense to me. So the grip, a little weird, but the safety selector, exactly like an AR-15. The trigger, bullpup triggers are complete garbage. So every trigger that you see here, other than I think the Flux and the SMC, because that's just a normal Glock or a normal 320 triggers. And on the Meta Tactical, surprisingly, the Meta Tactical ones are better triggers because they're using the existing gun that you're putting in there, similar to like the Flux and SMC. You're just using this plastic bar here to hit your existing trigger on your gun. But that is going to be the downside to this, is going to be that trigger. Triggers, garbage. But charging handles on this left side, and the way of reloading is probably my favorite out of all the bullpups that I own. And on top of that, since it is a bullpup, you do have a 16-inch barrel. This would probably be my more serious pick out of all the 6 guns that I've shown off. The Tavor X95 just checks all those boxes of a futuristic looking gun that makes sense to me. You have that familiarity from going from an AR-15 to one of these. You have the same controls essentially as an AR-15, other than loading your magazine back here instead of up here. And it's also a short package. And I mean, every one of these here is like a bullpup style of gun, I guess. And they're really short packages, but this one here just takes the cake on what I would pick personally. You guys go ahead and put down in the comments below on what you would choose out of these. But just to recap, the Meta Tactical, super fun gun, but that's pretty much all I would use it for, is to have fun. You do have a bullpup now, extremely short package with that 16-inch barrel, but it's just one of those guns that I just want to go out and have fun with. It just wouldn't be something super serious that I would use. The Flux Raider and the SMC would be more of your super compact, concealable packages, right? That you still want 3 points of contact, because essentially this is still just a handgun, and you're only going to get the ballistics out of a handgun out of this, but you having that extra stability so you can make more precision shots. Then you go on to the 10 mil, where you're having those big boy 10 mil rounds to do some damage. Not saying none of these aren't going to do damage, but it just feels like a lot of power in your hands when you have 10 mil, especially 30 rounds of 10 mil in a magazine. But this is also limited to a short barrel. I believe this is around 5 inches. Don't quote me on that, but maybe around 5 inches. Then going on to the PS90, you have the 5.7 rounds, really small rounds, really light, so you can carry a ton of rounds with this 5.7, but manual of arms are tricky if you don't know what you're doing. Springfield Hellion, I really like this. I like the way it's ambidextrous and you could charge it ambidextrous. Everything's ambidextrous on this. It's just the way of reloading it was the biggest downside for this not being number one. So the X95 is, to me, the most practical. Even though we're speaking about hypotheticals here and kind of daydreaming and just having fun with it, this would be my most practical pick out of the lineup here. But I do have a honorable mention for you guys. The Colt Python in 357 Magnum. That's all done up. The way I have it here, super futuristic looking. It just didn't even make this list because you got 7 rounds, right? So it's not going to be practical for an alien invasion, but it still looks really cool, and it still gives you that what is this, like Borderland vibes or something like that. This what is that game called, Fallout vibes here. But yeah, I just wanted to mention this one here, that this is a futuristic, cool looking gun. But obviously, there's going to be more logical guns to have over these. I mean, some of you guys might actually choose these as something serious that you want to use for a shit hits the fan situation, not just an alien invasion. But to me, I would probably go with an AR-15 or an AK or something like that for a shit hits the fan type gun. Most likely an AR-15 or that. That's coming up next. But thank you guys so much for sticking around on this fun video here. It is super hot where I'm at right now, so I'm sweating. But I hope you enjoyed my little, I guess, top 6 guns that I would choose for the alien invasion that's probably coming, according to the government. But if you have any other guns that you think look futuristic, let me know, because I'm on a whole destroying all aliens kick right now. So hopefully if you are an alien and you're watching this video, don't fuck with us, man. We're Americans. But thank you guys so much. I appreciate you all. Love you all. Catch you in the next one.